Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to My Rays of Light Radio. I'm your host, L.M. Young. Tonight we're going to be talking about independence. With Friday being 4th of July and we're all getting ready for our barbecues and our fireworks displays, we wanted to take a moment out of our day to discuss independence. Not necessarily independence in the traditional context, but what is independence exactly? I was curious about it myself. I went and looked up the word independence, and actually what independence means is a person not acting as part of a political party. I found that a little funny. But it also means law of self. Independence, standing up for yourself, standing up alone. Even whenever it seems like everyone else is biting at your ankles, trying to pull you down, getting in the way of your path, you are still pushing forward. Tonight we're calling on independent women, entrepreneurs, free thinkers. Give us a call. Join in our conversation. The number here is 646-564-9708. If you want to speak to us, just dial the number 1. And it'll put you right in there with my producer, and we'll get you right on the line. It's very important. It's very important that this word is something that we've become synonymous with our lives. Independence, we want to stand out. We almost have to stand out. Otherwise, we're following other people. You know, their decisions become our decisions. They become thoughtless or mindless without consideration. Whenever we are standing out by ourselves independently, we are saying, this is my path. This is where I am supposed to be going. This is what I am supposed to be doing. And with that comes so much power. You will see how many people are actually interested in everything that you're saying, everything that you're doing. If it's something as simple as changing your diet, or as huge as creating a multi-level business. All of these things are created by independent thinkers, free thinkers, entrepreneurs, powerful men and women who just decided to step out away from what everyone else is doing their own thing. It's a risk. It's a risk. But that is what makes independence such a great thing. It's a risk, and if it doesn't work out exactly the way that you thought it was going to, it's going to work out the way it's supposed to. And that's the greatest thing about independence to me. We want to make sure that you're able to get a hold of us in social media. Of course, we're on Twitter, and all you would have to do is do @LightRays and the number 1. We have a great group on Facebook, and you would just need to search for the name My Rays of Light Radio Network. Or you can contact me on my Facebook page, and that's L.M. Young. We also have a website, which is www.myraysoflight.com. And if you want to contact us personally, our email address is myraysoflight@hotmail.com. You can contact us at any of those places. We can discuss anything that you'd like to talk about. What are your ideas? What are your hopes and aspirations? What would you like for us to discuss? What did you think about the show? Do you have another show idea? Do you have something in mind that perhaps you might think that we don't know about? I mean, there are lots of things going on in the world, so contact us, get informed with us. It's very important that we hold hands in this. It's very important for us to do this. There's a lot of things going on this week due to the fact that it is Independence Day on Friday. I was reading about the Native Americans that were marching from Texas to Oklahoma, and it's a freedom march. It's their independence. It's their way of standing out and saying, whatever was done to us, it was wrong, it was malicious, but we are standing up and we are standing together. It's unity. It's unity, and that's what independence creates. It creates unity. It creates people to stand beside one another, not in front of, not behind, beside one another, and said, we're going to walk this path together. This is the importance of this word. This is why it's so completely relevant to what we're talking about. Declare your independence. Decide that you are going to step away from what everyone else is doing, what everyone else is thinking, what everyone else is saying, unless what they're doing, saying, and thinking is exactly what you're doing, saying, and thinking. It's very important. Again, we want you to be a part of our show. The number here is 646-564-9708. We want to talk about, tell us about your 4th of July. Tell us about your 4th of July story. We all have them. We all have those stories where you will tell them for years and years and years. You will tell them so much that your children will get sick of hearing about it. But we want to hear about it. I'm going to share my 4th of July story with you. I also shared it in the group, the My Rays of Light Radio Network group. But I was visiting family who I didn't see that often. And I had an older cousin, and he was somebody I sort of adored, probably because he was older than me and he got to do all the fun stuff. And his father had put him in control of the sparklers, the little boxed sparklers that you buy. And there were, a couple of us girls with him. So he trusts my cousin and gives him the lighter and says, don't let the girls too close to the shrubbery, And so, of course, we're okay. Before I knew it, no longer than my uncle had closed that door, my cousin has like 20 sparklers in his hand that he's lighting all at one time. And I'm thinking, how greedy are you being right now? No one else is going to have any. And then he takes his hand and he shoves it in one of the bushes. And then the bush catches on fire, and there's fire, there's flames, it's huge. So the girls, we're all running around the house like crazy little children trying to grab the water hose. And so we're making a lot of noise outside, and my uncle comes to the window and says, what are you doing? And I can remember clearly saying, nothing, but we can put it out. And he comes running to the front of the house to where my cousin has got the bush on fire. No one got hurt. It was a good thing. It was a great experience. It was funny at the time, scary now that I'm older. But these are the kind of stories that you don't ever forget about. You never forget that day. You seem to have just forgotten that his hand was a hand in a fire bush. But it's a 4th of July story. It's something that makes me laugh and smile when I think about it. It's about family. It's about love and tenderness. It's about caring about one another. It's about spending time with the people that mean the most to you. Life is precious, and we have to remember that our time is always limited. It's limited as to how much time we have and who we get to spend that time with. It's Independence Day. A lot of the time what happens is we think about our veterans, and the great things that they've done to help us, in this country that we live in. I wrote something recently for my father-in-law, and I wanted to share it with you all tonight before we got started with the show too much. I thought about you today. I can't get you off my mind. The only explanation I have is I just love you all the time. So when you come into my spirit and tell me it's all right to weep, but to give love ever still with every promise I do keep. You remind me of how loving you always were to me then, how honored to be your family will be till my end. So tonight, as my mind wanders to that far off but not too far place, know that my heart is with you still, even on the roughest of days. We miss you daily, no question, yet your voice stays in my head. It's going to be all right, pretty girl, the words ever over and over you said. Rest in paradise, our beloved. Don't confuse the tears for pain. You live in our hearts always, where real-born heroes always remain. We are going to take a brief commercial break. Before we do, though, I wanted to let you know these guys that have been on YouTube and on Facebook are amazing, amazing. And their name is Aldrich Talanding and James Bucking, and they are great. They sing a song, Dance with My Father, which is a Luther Vandross song. They're amazing. We're going to listen to them now. And in our radio group, we're going to be posting the video so you all can see it also. Enjoy it. They are fantastic. They also have a Facebook page. Check them out. We'll be back in a few more minutes with My Rays of Light Radio.
I know I pray.
Welcome back to the My Rays of Light radio show. I'm your host, L.M. Young. Tonight we're talking about independence, declaring our independence, breaking away from the mold. What an important and empowering thing to do. It's how leaders are created. You know, they stop being foot soldiers. They stop following everyone else. They stop moving right just because everyone else is moving right. They stop using words out of habit and start learning what the words actually mean, the importance of them. So that's what we're talking about tonight. Independent women, entrepreneurs, free thinkers. What do I mean when I say entrepreneur? Entrepreneur is someone who is breaking out or breaking away and creating their own business, creating their own opportunities. Now, the entrepreneurs that we have lots of business with are interested in helping other people. This is the philosophy that we have at My Rays of Light. It's our purpose is to help other people. Our purpose is to lift up, not tear down. We don't need to step on top of each other to show that we are strong, because that is not a symbol of strength. It is a symbol of weakness. It's a symbol of fear. A lot of the time we will do these things. We will have these conversations and we will tear down other people simply because we are afraid that we are not enough. So the importance of all of this is to know that you alone are enough. You are strong enough. You are bold enough. You are wise enough. You are beautiful enough to stand alone. You don't need an accessory to make you better. You're perfect the way that you are. So when you're stepping out, you're taking that step up, that step toward your path, towards your dream, your goal, your aspiration in business or in life in general. You need to start off knowing that you are going to succeed. All that you have to do is decide to do it. You only have to decide, I am not going to fail because I'm not a failure. I am going to succeed at anything that I want to do. Anything that I touch is going to turn to gold. And it's going to turn to gold, perhaps not in the monetary sense, but in the sense that I am paving the way for other people. The greatest leaders of our lives didn't sit around and wonder if anyone's going to pat them on their back. Mahatma Gandhi was never thinking or ever saying or even talking about how great he is. He never said that. Stand up for what's right. That's what he did. He gave up everything. He walked away from everything to do what was right. And he touched so many lives. He did so much with his ideas, his concepts. And that's what makes him an endearing person in our history. He's not the only one. Mother Teresa did the exact same thing. She gave up everything. She had lots of money, endless possibilities. But she saw that there were homeless people. She saw that there were people doing without. And there never should come a time where that is okay. I saw a video, it was actually posted in the My Rays of Light Radio Network group, where there was a woman who was homeless. She was a soldier. She's now living out of her car, or at the time that was recorded, she was living out of her car, and she was talking about how awful it is for her. She has to sleep in strange positions. She has to create a life that makes it look like to everyone else that she is not homeless. And I always like to use the word houseless instead of homeless, because home is where the heart is. Wherever you are, wherever that the people that touch you, the people that surround you, the people that love you, that's your home. You may not have a house, but you always have a home. I found this video to be really disheartening. She served in the military. She served her country, and she's homeless. She has no place to live. She's all alone. She's alone. And these are the things that we're talking about. We have got to stand up for what is right, even if standing up is the loneliest thing for us to do. Even if standing up says to other people, I don't want to go near him or her because you know how they are, you know what they think, you know how they aren't like us. We are supposed to stand up. We are supposed to be that beacon of light. We are supposed to stand up and say, no more. This is not going to happen anymore. Not while I'm watching. It's not going to happen. We're supposed to do these things. That is what independence does for us. Whenever we are independent and we are standing up, when we are walking forward, when we are marching upward, people are watching. And you're going to encourage them to do the exact same thing. This is independence. This is why we are always pushing for entrepreneurship. This is what we're doing. We are saying, create your own business, but better yet, don't just create your own business. Create a business that's going to help other people. We need to learn how to do that. We need to understand that by helping other people, we are blessed. We are blessed. Great things are going to come to us because we simply have chosen to do the right thing. It doesn't mean that that person is going to do the right thing back to you. And if that happens, if you're disappointed by that person, just let that go. Let it go. Because the blessing is not in the response. The blessing is in the decision to do it. That's the blessing in all of this. This is where all of the added stuff comes. This is the sugar on top. This is the whipped cream on your sundae. This is it. Whenever you do the right thing and things come rolling back to you, that isn't the blessing. The blessing is giving out, giving back, doing things for other people. You'll be amazed at how fabulous that'll make you feel. You'll feel like you're on top of the world, even if nothing else in your life changed. This is independence, free thinking outside of that box, thinking outside of walk in a single file line, raise your hand if you have a question. Think outside of that. Think outside of the clock in by 9 o'clock or you're going to get fired. No overtime. Make sure your breaks are on time. Independence, free thinking. Think outside of what you've been taught to think. Because the truth is that we are not taught to think. We are taught to follow. We are taught to memorize. We are not taught to think. 9 times out of 10, unless you have spectacular parents that are thinking outside of the box themselves, you're going to continue to walk in that single file line, just like ants. We're going to do that. It's how we're raised that way. Our families are raised that way. It is only our ancestors, our deep ancestors, were true leaders, true independent thinkers, true free thinkers. They're the ones that stepped out boldly, not caring or being concerned about what anyone else thought. This is what I'm doing. This is my path. This is what my soul screams for me to do. I must follow the light. And this is independence. We lost it along the way, but we don't have to stay lost. We can pick it up and we can move forward, and that is what we're encouraging you to do. We're encouraging you to move forward, to take that bold step, to move in a direction that is not taken very often. Move in that direction. Show people how easy it is. Show them that they are not alone. And show them that even if they think they are alone, they are enough. Encourage those people. Encourage someone to sing a song that hasn't sung in a long time. Encourage someone to dance. Encourage someone to write. Encourage someone to draw that fabulous painting they have inside of them. Encourage people. That is what we are here to do. This is our eternal purpose, to do something we've not done before and to give back. And how gracious is it to give back to a Creator that loved us so much that He gave us everything we have here. It's all here for us, abundant. The vegetables, the fruits, everything we need to remain healthy is here on this earth. Everything is coming through the earth. The earth is nothing but a giant mother. Everything comes through her. Everything comes up through the ground. Everything we are supposed to have comes through the ground. All of the herbs, the fruits, the vegetables, water, all come up through the ground. And these are the things that we are supposed to have. These are the things that we are supposed to nourish ourselves with. This is how we take that first step into becoming healthier people. It's very important that we make these changes in our lives. It's not difficult to do. It really isn't. It just takes that first step, and sometimes that first step is a harsh one because we feel like we're all alone. We feel like, well, what if someone's watching me? What if someone makes fun of me? What if someone ridicules me? Or this is a mentality that even our children will have unless we encourage it. Take that first step. Whenever you're a child and it snows, the very first thing you want to do is be the very first person to make that snow angel or the first footprint in the snow or that first snowball. When we're children, we want that. We want to be the very first one. So we're rushed to do it. But slowly, as we become adults, we lose that vigor. We lose that. And so it's very important that we want to step out front, step outside, take over. We want take control of your destiny. Don't let life happen to you. Happen to life. It's really, really, I cannot stress enough the importance of it. I just can't. We're going to take another brief commercial break. And this time we're going to be listening to Emmanuel Hondo, and he plays the violin. And when I say that he plays it, he plays it. It's the most amazing thing I've ever heard. He is phenomenal. This particular song he's playing is Drunk in Love. This is the Beyonce Knowles song. And he's just spectacular. He really is. He is also on Facebook. Look him up. We're going to be posting his video on the group page, which is My Rays of Light Radio Network, and let us know what you think about it, because believe me, this guy is amazing. We'll be back in just a few moments with more My Rays of Light Radio.
Okay,
Welcome back to the My Rays of Light radio show. I'm your host, Ellen Young. Tonight we're talking about independence, independent women, entrepreneurs, free thinkers. We would love to have your take on the topic. Our number here is 646-564-9708. On the line right now we have Nadia. Nadia, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Hey, how are you tonight?
Oh, pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Glad to be back on the air, you know.
Yeah, I guess I wanted to add a certain portion of independence because, you know, it seems like this is more of a woman's era at this point where we're, you know, taking, you know, the corporate world, you know, taking over the corporate world, but it seems like we're more of us are getting into business for ourselves.
Right.
You know, so I guess after working for corporate for so long and running it, you know, it's I guess it's come to us as women to realize that since we can run corporate America, we could actually have our own, you know, and have our own money and actually develop our own and have more creativity, more input, you know, and have better growth, you know, for ourselves. So, you know, I know that was one of my points in, you know, doing for myself.
I agree with you. I agree because, and I think that what makes some people veer away from the whole idea of independent women is that somehow they're in competition now with men, or they now want to be men, and that's just an idea that, number one, it's impossibility. You can never be a man.
Right.
You can never be that. You were born a certain way. You're going to be a certain way. You know. But I think that the thing that a lot of people miss out on is the fact that as an independent woman, you are now becoming a stronger woman for your independent counterpart. You know, whether it be your husband or just significant other. You know, it's not easy to be the foundation to Jell-O. You know, it's not easy to do that. And as women, we are supposed to be the foundation from which everything else is built on. You know, that's always been our position. I mean, unless someone tells me differently, that's always been our position. Our position is to create the foundation of the family. You know, and being an independent woman doesn't mean that you're stepping away from all of that, because that's your power. You know, that is your strength. You know, we're supposed to be the teachers, the representatives of the family. Whenever we go out, people look at us, and our family is judged by the mothers of the family.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you know yourself, very rarely whenever a husband walks out is anybody saying, oh, that's what his family's about. They want to know who's he married to, how does she behave, how does she carry herself, and how do her children behave, you know, and all of that is. So that's how I look at it, as a strength, you know, as opposed to trying to take over something, because I don't think anyone's trying to take over anything. We're just trying to learn how to live in harmony.
Right, where it's an addition, you know, it's complementary. And if, you know, they look at it in the fact that, you know, the women who own the businesses are not taking over, but they're complementing what is there or assisting, then they will be less likely to be intimidated by our presence. You know, we bring a different air to the environment, to the business world, you know, and if you look in history with all the things that women were doing, a lot of us were already part of that in the first place. Like, if you look at a lot of the Mexicans, where they have the Mexican blankets, now, you know, if you think about it, who were the ones doing it?
Right.
You know, who were the ones putting those beautiful, tapestry together to put on your bed or use as decoration.
Exactly.
So it comes, it's just a lot about from the heart.
Right.
That's what I've noticed.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not a competition. I don't see how it could be a competition because you have some women who are assistants, you have some men who are assistants, and you still have some women who are leaders and some men who are leaders. So
Right.
I think it's just all a matter of what you're born to contribute.
Right. I agree 100%. It's it's knowing who you are. Because like I was saying earlier, that for so long we've been taught to follow. Just walk single file, raise your hand if you have a question. We've been taught to follow, and we are creatures of habit. And so it can be really easy to say, I'm just going to go find me a job and clock in and clock out and just do everything that they tell me to do, and sort of you become like a zombie. After a while, you don't even have to think about it. You've been doing it so much that you don't even have to think about it. When you're answering a phone at work, you are it's something that you've memorized. It's a habit now. You're not thinking.
Right.
So then the free thinking, it goes out the window. No one at work is really going to ask you, well, do you think this is the right thing for us to do? Because that's their business. You're working for them, so basically you become their worker ant. And you're doing whatever it is that they want you to do. As opposed to having your own business, creating your own. I mean, even the homeschooling system, creating your own schooling system, so that you are helping to mold children that are thinking outside of the box from the very beginning. So we're not having to retrain them as adults. As children, we are showing them, we're going to do things this way, because there is no right or wrong. There is no right or wrong way to teach people. Everyone learns differently. So I mean, this whole independent movement, really, it touches everything. There's really nothing that it can't touch, because if we're talking about schooling, we're talking about business, we're talking about thought and conversation. It's very important. I'm so glad that you're a part of this conversation with me today. I mean, I know that we happen to agree on it, but that's just not the only reason. It's because I really always enjoy getting your perspective whenever we're talking about something, because a lot of the time, we think, well, this is what it is. It's just this. And then whenever you're able to correlate your ideas with someone else, you realize that maybe I missed something. Maybe she sees something that I don't see. Maybe I see something that she doesn't see, and then that's when enlightenment actually occurs. So I'm always really thankful whenever you call in and you contribute so much to the conversation.
Oh, thank you. I want to touch on one more thing that I think is very important as far as the United States and our economy, for us to be independent financially. Instead of always worrying about who's going to give us a job, or there's not enough jobs, or, why don't you create your own job? You know what your gifts are. You know what your strengths are. You know what you can, or if you don't, just take a look and see what you can contribute and how you can help, with contribution and make money at the same time.
Right.
And, you have no idea what kind of benefit you can be for everyone else, service or, product. And you're making your own money, and you don't have to worry about what type of jobs are available.
Right. That's exactly right. I mean, and so there again, it goes back to the whole adage that we get spoon-fed information, and then we take it as the truth. There were, especially when they're talking about politicians, and well, you and I both have seen it lately, online. when we've been on Facebook or whatever, whenever we've seen things that people have said. I mean, they just have these laws passed, where they're saying that, we are going to pay for erectile dysfunction drugs for men, but we're not going to pay for birth control for women. It's these things, and when we stand back and we may be angry about it, but if we're just standing back doing nothing, then nothing changes. Nothing changes. And there was someone that had said something to the point of, if it doesn't affect me, I guess I shouldn't say anything. And to which I said, you're the exact person that should stand up. You're the exact person that should stand up. If it doesn't affect you, the only time change happens is when people that are unaffected stand up and say, no more. This is ridiculous. This has to stop. That's the only time things change. Otherwise, people don't take it seriously. The only people that are going to listen to you are the people that are in the same boat that you are, and they're not in a position to change it either. You really do need people. Whenever I was talking on Facebook earlier this week about the war on women, the only people that can really change that is men. The only people that can change the war on women is men, because it's too acceptable. And you have very strong, vibrant, intelligent women who are being held back because we live in a society that says that what she says isn't valid. Some of the ludicrous remarks that are made by politicians about women and their bodies, and they're just ridiculous to me, and it's it's just something that should change, and hopefully, it will at some point anyway.
Well, I mean, the only way that I can say that they might be able to connect to the idea is that, most people have a mother, an aunt, a cousin, a sister, all women. And, you care about your family members, and you wouldn't want them to be treated that way. If they were in a bad circumstance, or they were treated inhumanely because they were women, So in that sense, you can relate. So it's best to speak up and, make a change.
Exactly, and that was what was happening in Alaska and Canada whenever the natives there, the Native Alaskans, the Native Canadian women were being kidnapped, murdered, raped, and no one was doing anything. And so what happened was they created what was called the Idle No More movement, and that movement took off because the men of the tribes stood up and said, no more. No more.
Exactly.
You can't do this. These are our women. This is our family. These are our sisters, our mothers, our grandmothers, our daughters. And that's the only time when anything changed, is because men stood up and said, okay, enough is enough. Really, enough is enough. And that's really what has to happen in general. When you're the minority in that situation, then you have to have someone else stand up and say, it's kind of like the bullying thing. When no one stands up and does anything, it doesn't change. It doesn't do any good for the victim to stand up because they're being victimized already.
Right.
It takes
exactly.
It takes someone who is unaffected by it to stand up and say, this has to stop. We can't do this anymore. That's when real change will occur. In my opinion, that's when real change is going to occur. So,
Exactly, I agree. So, a lot of people, I guess, have to realize that they have to stand outside of the box of being comfortable and, not being affected, or think that they're not going to be affected, because eventually, whether, it's a man or a woman, regardless, they're going to realize, oh, wow, that woman was affected, but indirectly it kind of snowballs down to you eventually.
Yeah.
And you're going to feel it anyway,
Absolutely.
You know, it's just like how a lot of people, you know, oh, we're going to cut down the trees to make room for all of these, you know, buildings, and, you know, we're doing this to be productive, or, you know, to make better sky rises for all of these people. But, you know, they don't feel it now, but eventually when there's not enough trees to create the atmosphere that we need in this world, then we'll feel it. Then we'll start to realize, wow, we need more trees. You know, so it's something that they need to think about. You know, now it's not going to have a problem for them, but later down the road it will cause an issue. And, you know, maybe if they think ahead and say, okay, let's fix this problem now.
Right.
You know.
Right. Everybody needs to think globally.
Yes.
You know, everybody needs to think globally, because everything affects everything else. You know, everything affects everything else. If the sun stops shining, everything dies.
Exactly.
You know, everything affects everything else. If as a mother, if something happens to me, then who are my children supposed to turn to for the nurturing, the empathy, the compassion? You know, because that's our role. We're the nurturers. We are the caregivers. We're supposed to do these things. You know, my daughter is always looking for me to take care of the boo-boos, or the, you know, wiping her the tears from her eyes, or, you know, all those things, because typically the male role model is to protect, not necessarily to empathize or show compassion. Not that they don't, but this is what we do. We were born to be this way. You know, we were created this way. That's why we are emotional. We're emotional. Exactly. It hurts me when I see something that's an injustice being done. It hurts. It might make a male angry or mad, but it hurts me to see it. You know, so all of this doesn't take away from anything when we become independent. Whenever we decide, okay, I'm going to set the example for my daughter. I'm going to be the thing that I want her to look up at, because I don't want her to look to Beyonce and in some music video and say that, wow, that's exactly what I want to be. Not that there's anything wrong with singing, but there's so much more than that. That's not all that goes on with this girl. And that's not all that she does. But you're only going to see, you know, bit parts, you know, Lady Gaga on the BET Awards. You know, if we don't become independent, then our children start looking to people that are created. You know, these people are. This is their image. This is how they're created this way. They aren't. You're not seeing how they are at home without makeup and without weave. You don't see what they're like then. You know, so our children grow up and they have this tainted idea as to who these people really are and who they want to become. And the only way to change that is to change it. You know. Exactly. We're gonna take another commercial break. There's this. I saw her on X Factor. Her name is Brandy Love, and she sings a song called "Up to the Mountain." She blew me away. She was really just very, very good, and so I wanted to share her with you guys tonight. And we're also posting that video up on the My Rays of Light Radio Network group tonight, so you can take a look at that as well. We'll see you in a few more minutes with more My Rays of Light Radio.
To where the sky
Welcome back to the My Rays of Light show. I'm your host, L.M. Young. Tonight we've been talking about independence. Independent women, entrepreneurs, free thinkers. Very important information we received tonight. If you have any questions about anything that we talked about, please feel free to contact us at the My Rays of Light Radio Network group on Facebook, or contact us on Twitter at LightRays and the number 1. You can also contact me on my Facebook page, which is just L.M. Young. Our website is www.myraysoflight.com, and our email is myraysoflight@hotmail.com. We want to make sure to remind all of us that Friday for this weekend is a moment of celebration. We are celebrating a nation, and there is no reason in the world to take anything away from that. We want you to be safe. We want you to, if you're going to drink, make sure you get a designated driver. Careful with the fireworks. They're so dangerous. They're really so dangerous. So many accidents happen with them. But have fun. Go out, barbecue, meet with your family and friends, and create new memories with them. A memory is a moment that is left in time. Create lots of them. Enjoy these moments that we have with your family and friends. It's limited. This time that we are here in this place is limited. So you're going to want to make sure that you make the very, very most of it. Independence Day itself is a wonderful holiday, even if you're only using it as a holiday to get together with family that you don't see very often. It's very important to do this. The memories will be here forever. The memories will be here forever. They're forever with you. So we want you to have a very safe but fun holiday. Create laughter. After you've had your holiday and then you've had your fun times, come back to us. Let us know what you did. Let us know your great stories. We want to know. We want to hear it. We would love to know what's been going on with you. In closing tonight, I'm going to read a poem that I had written called I Will. I will not give up today, no matter what transpires. My soul will march forward, even when my body begins to tire. I will smile at God's creation, even if it doesn't smile back. I will count all of my blessings while the world tells me what I lack. I will keep on walking forward while there are obstacles in my way, and when man says there's no hope, I will still continue to pray. I will look for the good in all, whilst people acknowledge only the bad. And although you may want me to sit, I will continue making a stand. I will keep erecting bridges where people are torn apart. And even as you may think it's over, I will tell you it's barely begun to start. I will construct a chain of hope where some may wiggle. I will smile and continue on my path before you get a chance to blink. I will smile in adversity while staring at yours first. I will sing the praises of our Father and the angels in our midst. I will love always my neighbor while he may swear in my face. You may take my possessions, but never my Creator's grace. I will get back up and start over every time I do fall. I will be reminded of the tests which are placed on us all. I will talk about my Father, hallowed be thy name. And while you may try my faith, the outcome is the same. I will ask God for forgiveness. Father, they know not what they do. For while you may cast stones upon me, I will always pray for you. I will continue to spread joy while man displays his hate. I will submit to God's will and pray that before it's too late, that you will see the light. because the darkness tends to hide the beauty you were born from and the love you have inside. I will fail from time to time, as only real people do, but I will never give up on God's will. How about you? Tonight we're talking about independence. We have Sheila on the line. Sheila, are you there? Hey, how are you?
I'm doing okay. I was just listening to the last caller, so what I was going to call and say kind of went out the window. Independence. I don't think that there's enough universal standard that we can say, like, what an independent woman should be. Not all women are the same. Not all women need the same things. Not all women want the same things. There's financial independence. There's emotional independence. There's taking care of your health to be independent from doctors and drugs. All kinds of independence. But if no man is an island, so there's dependence somewhere. So if we all, even the strongest, tallest, most powerful woman you can think of, if she digs deep, there's a dependency somewhere. So what I want to come back around to is the idea that we should be doing something. We should be a support to our partner. We should, shoulds, a lot of shoulds. Again, all women are different. And if we're shoulding all over ourselves, are we not then dependent on a single standard that someone else thought up for us? Some people can't even handle being independent. It's not for everyone.
True.
Honestly, I mean, there's people that aren't capable of even caring for themselves. I don't mean incapacitated, but I mean emotionally incapable of doing certain things or physically incapable of doing certain things. It's not for everyone. And so I think to say, we should, or it's our job, or it's, this is what we need to be doing in life. What if then you come along to Sally and say, hey, Sally, why aren't you a support to your husband? Oh, I'm not married. Not failure. So, there goes a shot to her self-worth. Why aren't you running your own business and making your own money? Failure, shot to her self-worth. I think a big step toward independence is to become kind of divorced from any type of universal standard on that word.
Right.
I'm pretty. I guess that's all I got to say now. She did all the work for me. I really enjoyed listening. And the whole time I was struck with, it's nice. I mean, it would be great if we could all do that, but not all of us can. I mean, independence for me is a physical thing. I just got up and walked away from my husband during time that we would normally spend together to come outside and talk on the phone. To me, that's a sign of independence. I can go to the grocery store and buy my own groceries.
Well, I agree with you because, we all have to create our own definition of who we are. It's about being comfortable with who we are as people, male or female.
And it's
so
tough to be comfortable if you mentioned free thinkers. I think I'm one of the freest thinkers I can imagine. I have very odd and kind of outlier type opinions and thoughts about a lot of topics. And for a long time, I felt like I had to, kind of conform to how people wanted me to talk. I even went to church for 10 years. And I don't believe in God because, I thought that, that you're supposed to grow up, go get a job, go to church. And I was miserable. Right. So it's not for everyone. Not everything is for everyone. You're right. I think I jumped into her conversation when she said, we're not born to, this part's not a man's job or not a woman's job. I think a lot of that is, I can't go put a roof on a house because I can't, I can't carry 50-pound bundles of shingles.
Right.
But there are women who can. But a lot of these things that we weren't, quote unquote, born to do, those are all learned behaviors, really. We learned that women are supposed to cook and raise the kids and do grocery shopping. We learned that behavior. And you know where we learned it? From patriarchy. The idea that men are going to be the ones to change how poorly women are treated. Again, another shot to a woman's power. Don't wait for a man. Don't wait for them to stop calling you bitches. Don't wait because they won't until you say that they can't. So the power, the the onus of responsibility is on us. You know, people treat you how you let them treat you. So
Right.
we've been walked over, I think, worldwide, except for in some, you know, small, Samoa, I think, is a matriarchy, some small pockets of the world. But as far as recorded history, half of the population has been kind of stepped on. Half the population
Right.
of the world for all of recorded history. Like, just let that sink in for a second. And we're just now in 2014 getting things like, you know, gender equity with pay transparency. And only a lifetime and a half ago, like my grandmother was alive when they couldn't vote. That's crazy to me. That's just, yeah. So this was my first time calling, actually. I listened a little bit a couple weeks ago. This is great, though. I'm going to keep doing it. So thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks. Have a good night.
You too. We want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. I want to thank our callers, Nadia and Sheila. Feel free to call back anytime. We love talking to you both. I want you to have a safe and happy 4th of July. Whatever your idea of independent is, do it with love and light. My name is L.M. Young, and these are my rays of light.